Good morning, everyone. Welcome to IDP New Year, New Horizons, IDP Study Abroad webinars. Hashtag the parent hack. Why send your child to study abroad? That's right. This webinar is for you parents to understand and learn about some tips and information on why you should send your child to study abroad. Now, for any questions during the webinar, please do specify which destination before stating your question. A and Z for Australia, New Zealand, CA for Canada, UKIE for UK and Ireland. Now, again, this webinar is really for you parents to get an idea on what are the options for your students, for your children, the financial considerations, the process, all of these above will be discussed in today's webinar. So we're hoping that you will be able to get a lot of information from us today. Again, my name's Alex. I'm one of the educational counselors here in IDP Pasig for Canada. Now, to begin, these are the objectives of this webinar. First is for you to discover the aspirations and dreams of your children. You will be able to understand your child's career goals and able to work hand in hand with their guidance counselor, teacher, or IDP counselor to provide the best route for them. This is also a way for you to shortlist countries and universities by being able to conduct research on the different education system of the varying destinations. This is also a way for you to prepare for finances and scholarships of each destination. Then also build a plan of action for your IDP counselor is here to advise you for the application process, shortlisting of courses, and each universities for every destination. Now, this is the best way for you to prepare your child for overseas education. Now, this is the major question that we are striving to answer for today. Why you should send your child abroad? One, because it builds character and develops independence for your children. It is also a key for them to have career success by getting a step higher on their education. Next, this is for them to get a learned from the leading institutions in the world and also being able to discover new cultures and environment because they will be going to different destinations that's different from the Philippines. Now, why start your study abroad with IDP? That is the question. So what we should do is to actually book a consultation with your IDP education counselor. We do have appointments Rafa and appointments Shara with us today in this webinar for you to book that appointment. Now, what are the different study abroad destinations that IDP can offer you? There are 5. We have Canada, Australia, New Zealand, United Kingdom, and Ireland. Now, for the degree guide for Canada, we'll give you an idea. For K to 12 graduates under the new curriculum, there are 3 pathways for you to proceed. First, you can either go directly for an undergraduate degree after finishing your K to 12 graduate, or you can actually pursue a pathway or bridging program. In Canada, it is considered as associate degrees, which run for 2 years. You can either take associate degree of arts or associate degree of sciences before pursuing the next 2 years at the partner institution university of your college. Next, you pursue a 2-year diploma in a college or university, then consider another 2 years under an undergraduate or a bachelor's degree. Now, for the degree guide for the other destinations, let me call on Bernadette to discuss this. Bernadette?
Thank you so much for the introduction, Alex. Hi, good morning, everyone. I am Bernadette. I'm one of the UK counselors of IDP. Now, as what you can see on your screen right now, this is a degree guide for your kids or for you if you are planning to study in the UK, Ireland, Australia, and New Zealand. So, for example, if you are currently taking a K to 12 program, or if you are a graduate, or if your kid is a graduate of this curriculum, you need to take an international foundation program before you can apply for an undergraduate degree in these countries. Now, if you're a bachelor's degree holder, then you are eligible. You are qualified to apply for postgraduate programs in your target destination. However, if you are taking an IB curriculum here in the Philippines or international baccalaureate, you are qualified or eligible to apply for direct entry in your undergraduate degree. Now, you might be wondering what an international foundation program is. Ano nga ba to? Next slide, please. An international foundation program is basically bridging program from PH curriculum to the curriculum of your target destination. Okay, this is specifically prepared for international students who are taking the K to 12 program. All right. So since you did not meet the entry requirements of the university, since nga there's a gap between our education system and their education system, so this will help you in your transition from our curriculum to their curriculum. This will also help your kids or help you, no, in preparation for your undergraduate degree in your target destination. It's just like a strand. So, for example, if you're planning to study nursing for your undergraduate degree, during your foundation year, you'll be studying subjects that are tailored according to your progression degree. For example, biology, math, chemistry, if you're aiming for a nursing program. So basically, you will be prepared. Now, aside from that, this is not just for K to 12 graduates. Even if you are already, let's say, a bachelor's degree holder here in the Philippines, and you are on your third year college here in the Philippines, and you want to study to a top ranking university in the UK for bachelor's, but you still did not meet the qualifications or entry requirements of the university, this can be another option for you. No, so that could lead you to your target university and program. So again, I encourage everyone to book a consultation with an IDP counselor so that we can discuss on what pathways that are fit for you. Next slide, please. Okay, for application requirements to all countries, these are the basic requirements that you need to prepare. We have TOR or transcript of records. You also need to prepare, of course, your diploma, academic reference letter, personal statement, copy of passport, then IELTS or English test. No, so IELTS UKVI for academic for UK and IELTS academic naman for the other countries. But of course, it's a case-to-case basis. It depends on the country, it depends on the university, it depends on the program. Some universities, some countries might not require academic reference letter. Some might not require a personal statement. Some might not require IELTS UKVI or IELTS academic. So again, the best way to know what exact or specific requirements you need to prepare, book a consultation with IDP. We have, again, our appointments team, IDP Rafa and IDP Shera. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so this is the preparation timeline. This is just an ideal. Okay, usually, if you plan to study abroad, the application normally starts a year before of your target intake. So, for example, if you're aiming to study or send your kids in Australia or in the UK in September 2024, the application opens normally a year before of your target intake. So around September 2023, some would open in October, some would open in November. So it's best to really apply as early as possible so that you'll have more time to prepare and you'll have more time to really decide and weigh things out, especially if you're planning to apply to more than one university. Okay, so from initial counseling, sending applications around January or April, I know you can see it here that you should be receiving offers or finalizing acceptance na. But don't worry, there are still a lot of universities or programs that are open for application. We can still chase up the applications to those universities, right? And then 6 months before your target intake, you could start applying for visa na. But if it's more than 6 months na, don't worry again, just coordinate. Talk with your counselor, and your counselor will be able to help you with the timeline that you need to take note of. Right? Next slide, please. Okay, so what would be the steps for you or for your kids if you would really pursue your studies abroad? Number one, I know I keep on saying this, consult with IDP. This is for free. We don't, accept any service fee here. We would be helping you out. We will, during the consultation, we will be not helping you in narrowing down your options. We'll be helping you and giving you recommendations, not to recommendations with universities, locations that are fit for you or your kids academically, professionally, environmentally, and even financially. So we take a lot of considerations during the consultation. Now, of course, you need to submit the requirements. And then once the requirements are good to go, we have our dedicated applications team who will do the application on your behalf or kids' behalf. So basically, all you have to do lang is to consult, gather your documents. In terms of school application, we'll take over. so you can go back to your daily life. Your kids can focus in their studies. And of course, we'll just reach out to you if ever we need more documents or if there's a feedback from the university. Now, once you receive an offer and accepted an offer from the university, we will also be helping you in visa application until your visa is granted. Let's hope for the best. Okay. And after that, our services doesn't stop there. We would also we also hold a pre-departure briefing for our visa holders, no offer holder students, and who just got their visa approved. What is it ba? During the pre-departure briefing, we discuss together with the other international students that are bound to study na to their target destination. We discuss the things that you need to prepare, to know, take note of before and upon arrival to your preferred destination. Okay, next slide, please. And I know this is the most, one of the most sensitive topics. And I know you are here because you are curious about the financial considerations. So, if you are planning to send your kids to the UK or Ireland, feel free to take a screenshot of this presentation or this slide, no? But again, these are just estimated amounts that you can prepare. For UK, for tuition fee, programs or tuition fee costs around £15,000 to £30,000. In Ireland naman, it's 15,000 euros to 20,000 euros. Living cost expense depends on the location. So you can talk about that with your counselor soon. So in the UK, for example, the cost of living in London is different. The cost of living outside London is different. In Ireland, it could go from 10,000 to more than 10,000 euros naman. Insurance, it also depends, but this is the estimated amount. Airfare as well. We all know, no, na it might change from time to time. Visa application right now is £490 for UK and 6,000 demand for Ireland. But once again, best to speak with a counselor if you are eyeing to study in the UK or Ireland, especially for example for UK, even if it says here 15K or 30K, it could go lower or higher. So sometimes it could go lower, especially that UK universities are very generous in giving scholarships or discounts. Not full scholarships, but discounts. Or it could go higher if especially if you're aiming for a top ranking university. Right. Now, for those naman who are interested to study in Canada, may I call in once again, Alex, to talk about the financial considerations of Canada.
Thank you so much, Bernadette, for that. So, for guys, for the financial considerations for Canada, the tuition costs range from 18,000 to 40,000 Canadian dollars. Take note, this will depend on the number of years that you will be studying in Canada. So, usually 1 year is roughly around 18,000 Canadian dollars. 40,000 Canadian dollars will roughly range around from 2 to 3 2 or more years and above. Now, for the living cost, yes, that is correct. For this year of January 2024, there is an increase for the living cost in Canada because they are now regulating that it is the exact amount that students might might experience as their expenses for their living costs in Canada. So now the living cost for Canada is 20,458 Canadian dollars for the student. Now, for the insurance, this will depend on the institution and location of where you will be studying in Canada, but it is roughly around 500 Canadian dollars per year. Now, the airfare is roughly around 600 to 1,000 Canadian dollars. This will differ, of course, in the duration, when the time you will book, and of course, the airline that you will book for your flight. Now, for the visa, it still remains at 235 Canadian dollars. 150 Canadian dollars for the visa itself. Biometrics is roughly around 85 Canadian dollars. Now, to discuss about the financial considerations for Australia and New Zealand, let me call on Matthew to discuss. Matthew?
Thank you, Alex. So good morning, a pleasant morning to everyone here. I'm Matthew, one of the counselors for Australia who is based in IDP Makati. So for Australia and New Zealand, no, we have tuition fees ranging from 10,000 to 50,000 for Australia and about 15,000 to 40,000. So why the big range, no? So we'd love to talk to you more about this by having a consultation with us now. So be please don't hesitate to book an appointment with us. Our appointments team, Rafa and Shara, are here in the meeting as well. So reach out to them so we can book an appointment with you. Living costs for Australia will set you back around 24,505 Australian dollars. And these are figures that are from the Australian government, no? For New Zealand, it's about 20,000 New Zealand dollars. Insurance is something that is mandated in Australia and New Zealand. And for a single plan, this will set you back $500 to $1,000 per year. So we can give you more information about this in our consultation, no? And for New Zealand, this will set you back around 570 per year. Airfare for Australia will set you back around 600. And as Alex mentioned, it's always best to book one in advance. So jumpstart your academic journey with us right as early as possible. No, it's also the same for New Zealand. It's also at 600 New Zealand dollars. Our visa fees for Australia is about 750 and about 295 for New Zealand. Next slide, please. So for post-study opportunities, if you're already taking up your studies abroad, what should you expect afterwards? In the UK, if you're taking up a bachelor or a master's degree, you're entitled to work there for at least 2 years. And if you're taking a doctorate degree, that's 3 years. In Ireland, a bachelor will give you 1 year of full-time work and about 2 years for a master's and a doctorate. For Canada, if you're taking up a 1 year program, then you're also entitled to stay for 1 year. And if you're taking programs that are longer, no, 2 years and up, you can stay there for 2 to 3 years afterwards. For Australia and New Zealand, if you're taking up a bachelor or a master's degree, the minimum is about 3 to 5. So, and they're depending on where you're taking up your studies in Australia or New Zealand, you might be entitled to be given an additional 1 year for your studies. Likewise, if you're taking up a doctorate degree, you're entitled to at least 3 years of full-time work. Okay, next slide, please. Again, for any questions you might have, please don't hesitate to reach out to us via the chat box and be sure to include your preferred destination before the question. Next slide, please. So how will IDP help you? How will we be able to help you get to your preferred or your study destination dreams, no? Let's talk about this in the next slide. So counseling is really the first step in making your dreams come true, no? And we can do this from 10 o'clock in the morning to 4 p.m. We can offer this counseling from Mondays to Saturdays, and be sure to reach out to our appointments team, no, for this. So we make sure that our counseling services are always personalized, and we make sure really our goals is to make the process as smooth and convenient as possible for our students. So for application services, as mentioned by Bernadette, they are free. And if ever you're thinking of already looking for a place to stay, if ever you don't have a relative or a friend to stay in your study destination, we also have partners that can accommodate or assist you with your student accommodation needs. Money transfer services are also present, no? So we have partners that can help you with these, and they are globally available. So with our services for the money transfer services, we make sure that you can monitor your transactions and you can view the status in real time. Likewise, our visa assistants are also free. No, and we make sure that we check your documents. We make sure that your write-ups are solid, and we always do our best when it comes to the visa assistance. When you're granted your visa, we can host this pre-departure event, no, in our respective offices. And this is a chance for you to meet other students who might be going to the same school or destination you're going to. And during these events, we also orient students on what to expect when they travel abroad. So other services include career assessments, study world exhibitions, which are physical events. And we also have offices in our study destinations abroad. Next slide, please. So other student essentials that we would like to remind you that we have. For student banking, IDP is also partnered with many banks in our study destinations. So we can assist you in creating a bank account for you to use when you start your studies abroad. So for insurances, IDP is also partnered with major insurance providers, and we are able to give you plenty of quotations for you to choose from. No? So the more options you have, the better for you to make a better decision. So again, with accommodations, we are also partnered with many accommodation providers. These may be from the school themselves or individual providers like apartments or homestays. So we have plenty of options for you to choose from. And again, our transfer money securely services or the money transfer services are also present. No, so we have partners like Flywire and Convera for you to check out, and with them, you will be made sure that we will make sure rather that your transactions are completed as soon as possible. Next slide, please. So let's talk about our upcoming events. If you're eyeing the UK and Ireland, we have one coming up on January 24 in our Pasig office. If you're closer to Makati or are in Cebu, we have one coming up on January 25. Next slide, please. And if you're in Clark, Pampanga, we have one coming up on February 3 in Wedus Hotel Clark. And again, if you're available towards February, no, we have another event coming up in Makati, Dusitani, Makati. Next slide, please. So if you're looking at studying in Canada instead, no, we have events in Lawag City. We have one in Northview Hotel on February 3. We have one in Dagupan, Pangasinan. So we have plenty of events coming up. Linox Hotel on February 9, and Mabalacat City, Pampanga, and SMX Convention Center on February 10. Next slide, please. So these are our upcoming events. So be sure to follow our social media handles so for you to be updated on when we're having these and when and where we're having these events. Similarly, we're also holding events other than physical events. So we are also holding virtual events like this one. No, and again, please follow our social media handles now. Okay, next slide, please. So to better prepare you for your studies abroad, IDP is able to give you some tools for you to use, and let's talk about them right now. Next slide, please. All right, so we have the cost of living calculator. So this is where you can check out how much goods cost in your respective study destinations. No, so you can access this by checking it out in our website, so IDP website, and we also have an app that I'd like to talk about in our next slide. So next slide, please, Alex. All right, so we also have an app for you to use. So aside from this having the cost of living calculator, you can also use this in uploading your documents and checking out courses, which is more important. So we have all our available courses is can be seen here. So you can shortlist the courses and we'll be able to check what your preferences are like. And yeah, so for the next, if you're interested in a particular course, we have this feature on the next slide. So next slide, please. All right. So you're browsing the courses right now, no? And you see that you want to check out these courses. So we have the fast lane, no? And you can be given an offer in principle, and this means that you can be sort of pre-assessed for the course that you're interested in. So this would involve you just answering some questions about your educational background and some tests that you might have taken. And with this, you will, if after answering all the questions, you will know in real time right away if you're eligible for the program or not. All right, next slide, please. So if you have any questions or if you want to book an appointment, be sure to contact us, okay? You can let us know by tagging our appointments team in the chat box below. And please follow us on our different social media handles, which are on the next slide. So take a screenshot or just search us in Facebook or in Instagram. And these are our social media handles. Okay. Next slide, please. Next slide, please.